think about it is different.
I don't think much of it. Like, really. Yeah, the whole thing what we said, there's really not, I don't even think about it.
I'm asking you if you think that you are depending too much on psychiatrists instead of just being led or like trying to understand this from God's view. Like if God is really at work in it, don't you think you're missing out on something?
Then no, I didn't think of it like that. For me, right? What I see similar thing happening, and I know last time that this happened, the psychiatrist and through medication you were able to recover and heal. And it was fine. We went on a cruise. We had a good time. Everything was good. I thought even the doctor, this is a one timer. He's glad. Even in the email that when you missed the appointment and you told him, you missed the appointment. You sent an email just telling how you're doing, and he replied back.
I don't think he put down that it's a one-time event.
No, the one-timer was in December when we're talking.
Yeah, we were talking.
But I'm talking. Yeah, I'm just summarizing. It's just how everything was. That if this is a one-timer thing, huh? But then when this happened, you think like, hey, last time this happened, the medication and the self-talk, it worked. Right?
What if the medication is not good for me? Like, as in, it's suppressing something.
Aren't we going along the line of the conspiracy theorists now?
Yeah.
Because then how your views on conspiracy theory and so forth like that. From what you see yourself, it works, right? Or it did nothing. Let's say it did nothing, right? Like you said, God heal you. It did nothing. Right?
Well, okay, I don't want to go there because you're right. I don't want to dive into the realm of conspiracy theory because I don't believe in those stuff. Okay? And I believe that doctors and nurses are here to help us, not to harm us. They are human like us too, and they want to do right too.
Yes.
Right?
Just like I want to help other people, but that's my ability, what God gave me.
Yes.
I go to school.
But I guess what I'm trying to get at is that aren't you afraid of missing out on a bigger thing that God is trying to do? By focusing too much on this as being a mental illness instead of trying to see what is God trying to bring out of this, or even trying to listen to me. You don't really listen. You listen, but then you filter it out through your own viewpoint.
And I mean, part of it was from part of it was from I remember from the other doctor, the one at St. Joseph. Okay.
Yeah.
When I talked to him quite a bit, by the way, because when I can't have, or then when he wouldn't release you and so forth. I talked to him why can't my wife go? I mean, even when the 3 days up, it's up, huh?
Mm-hmm.
She can go out today. It's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. I can take her out, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So forth. Yeah, and he's from his year of experience working with many. Is he Indian or something? Usually Indian, trying to kind of exaggerate. Huh? Was he Indian or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Patients really give her the extra day, and she's still somewhat has some thoughts, and they say to not give into or try to redirect it to something else until it clears up. Don't give in to her delusion, because it will help her. Otherwise, she'll start to think that way through the recovery.
So then, okay, I see that.
That's what he said.
So then, that's why you were so resisting those kind of thoughts, where you think that those thoughts are going to stick with me if you somehow entertain them too, right?
Yeah.
Is that the reason?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I understand that. But my question is then delusion. Is God the originator of delusion? Or why?
And there's some question that we are trying to.
But then, I mean, other people would think that too, right? I mean, other people will look at a Christian and then they're like, oh,
you're
how come
good.
she's a Christian but she went through these stuff?
We are still humans. We're Christian. We get sick, right? We get sick. We die. I mean, look, that being Christian doesn't make us any difference in terms of physical, right? We have Christ living in us, and we lead our life.
Yeah, that's
but
exactly.
that doesn't
If Christ
prevent disease and sickness to come upon us.
No, but like if Christ
So-
is in us, then why mental illness? Like
It's still a sickness. Right?
so you consider that to be same as a physical
Yes.
sickness?
Yes, it's still an illness, and he's just like the.
I mean, for me, I felt like if Christ is in us, we should have clarity of mind.
No, I don't think that's a guarantee. We are in this physical body, and there are many problems with this body, and anything.
So you think
can-
mental illness is like a physical problem with a like probably, yeah. I guess you're right.
It is. It's
Some kind of connection
yeah.
got lost, or
Right, or got interrupted. Just like sometimes we have a breakdown. It's like I can't think. You just sit there. You can't function. There are times, I have things sometimes. I'm like, yeah, like even yesterday, Or I just sitting there,
okay.
Yeah, that's a physical thing. It's in the mind, but still a physical thing. It's still.
So the mind.
I would still consider any type of problems we have in this body, right? It's an illness.
Okay, so that going through those experiences doesn't make me any less of a Christian.
No, of course not. That's why when you mentioned the whole thing about viewers, and I'm like, no, don't let that be the thing that going through this, and then remember when we first started the conversation?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like no, going through doesn't make you or any less of a Christian. It's like any ailment we go through. You mean like, let's say they're a Christian, right, and they get STDs, right? Does that make them any less of a Christian?
No, but I can see
Yeah.
those because those are
And-
like physical ailment, and it
And-
depends on what they
and-
did to get those kind of physical.
Yeah, but
But
we don't
this
know.
is
We
not
just hear they
for
may
me.
have just exposed it from a cut or something while helping someone, right?
Yeah.
We don't know that. They don't give. They just say, oh, I have this, and and of course we suddenly think in our mind, oh, did they do this? Because were they unfaithful and so forth, right? We don't know, but we have that thought,
But
Right?
the whole problem is that for me,
Mhm.
these kind of triggers happen because I was. Oh well, that brought up the next question.
Mhm.
Why do you think? Why do you want to prevent me from reading the daily Bible? Unless you think that it's a trigger.
So, Dr. Kumar, right? I look. That's why it was up for toss. I thought it was okay, me personally, right?
Mhm.
Because, that's why. When you were singing, did I ever say stop singing?
Singing what?
No, when these last few days when you just sang out like a Christian song, listen to singing. Did I ever say stop it?
No.
None? Right?
No.
Did I, when you asked the radio, I just turn it off for you, right?
Yeah.
I don't say no, we shouldn't listen to anything.
Uh-huh.
No, nothing God. I didn't say that, right?
So it wasn't from you. It
No.
was from the doctor, and you're just
So-
obeying his order.
Yeah. Actually, I asked the nurse first, right? I was like, my wife would like to resume Bible study, Okay, and I, and so what do you think of that, right? And the nurse himself's like, he's first like, it's like, actually, I think it's fine. The nurse said, it's fine. He's probably a Christian too. Maybe he knows But then, right, they say, but you know what? Let me check with Dr. Kumar on this. So don't do anything until we get a response from the doctor. And then a few hours later he called back and he said, Dr. Kumar believes it's good that you should wait a week or two. Okay. Yeah. So
Well, is that following man instead of God? Following God.
well, yeah, that's the question that comes up, right? It's like, you know, we feel that we should read His Word. Huh?
Yeah.
Well,
right? Daily. Well, it's
well,
like our daily bread.
Mm.
It's like our daily bread.
Yeah, it's like our daily bread, but at the same time, you know, does it make us any less a Christian if we skip it for a while?
No.
No, yeah. And he said it's, you know, it's not like it's out of thin air. They say just suddenly stop reading the Bible, right? Or devotion. It's not out of thin air. He felt it was related to the hyperreactivity and just to help calm the mind, just to take a little break. Okay? I mean, you know, at the same time the doctor says that, but you know, I mean, I tell you, right? But if you don't see some validity in it, I mean, I go to work, and you could just open up and read it yourself, right?
Well, but I already promised you that I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So that would be lying if I do it behind your back.
Okay, but you see that it's, you know, even when the doctor said so, right? He's not forcing you a gun to your head, huh? Right? I'm not there with you 24/7 to force it, right? Everyone, you know, I'm just one of the things that's thinking what's best, and that was it. It's just there was this relevance to it, and just to give a little bit of time off. That's all that was needed. And I looked up, so I'm like, is it okay for a doctor, you know, to say like you know, some time off? And yeah, they talk about like, it doesn't make you any less of a Christian if you do. I mean, it's for your own benefit in a way. It's not that you're committing to it, like, I'm not following God's word. You're saying, I'm just taking a break just for these reasons.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, it's not like you're turning your back on God. That's like a different choice, right?
Yeah.
There's a choice of like, I'm taking some time for these various reasons, which is different from I'm turning our back on God, right?
Well, I kind of compare it to Daniel. If Daniel felt it was necessary to even like pray in the position that he prayed in, like isn't reading the Bible more important than even like prayer, or maybe they're on the same level of importance, but then I'm like neglecting it.
It's important, but ultimately in the end, it was the salvation. And in the Bible, it's like, you know, the 10 Commandment of having no other God. Huh? Are you violating any of His commandment by just taking a break? You're not turning your back. You're not anything. Say it. You know. Personally, it's a matter of the heart, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a matter of the heart?
Yeah.
And in my heart, I don't think I'm doing God a disfavor or anything. I'd say it's something, it's just a little time off, just, you know, just there. I mean, we watched Pastor Brad, right? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't stop or anything. I didn't say nope, nothing, right? Huh? Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, and like, the other thing during this experience that made me like really feel like God was working through it is how I can actually like, he kind of like, I see words in my brain and then I then say those words. It's kind of like karaoke. But then after a while, those words doesn't appear anymore, and then it's like whatever I say, it's like it's pretty much it's not delayed anymore. You see, so I felt like God kind of like told me what to write during some of some part of that episode. And then the other thing, my hand and my feet do work, and I don't have to even think about, oh, what should this do, like what is this for, or what's the purpose of this. I don't even need to. It's like everything is in the moment. And then you can see the whole house kind of like got clean in a very organized and like efficient manner, without me spending like racking my brain, oh, where should this go, where should this go. Before, it takes me a long time to do like cleaning because I kept on having those questions. And then another thing was during the interview with Dr. Kumar, I saw myself, I didn't put on any makeup, but I saw myself in the thing looking like it had makeup on, like the light makeup that I like, the natural makeup, but you didn't see that. So that tells me that what you see and what I see are different, even though it's the same like physical me. So there are a lot of weird little things.
But the same camera and so forth.
Yeah.
The second time, you don't see that anymore.
Yeah, second time I don't see it anymore. So
the
it's
same
like
camera, the same environment.
Yeah.
Know?
So it's like, why? If God is not in it, then who is? You know, and then like stuff that I see on like Baby Bus and stuff like that, it kind of foretell, and like stuff that play on her iPad, it kind of foretell, and then it kind of happened what I see, like the way that it happened.
Okay.
So it's like, I keep on wondering if God is not in this, who is?
Could be. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Huh?
Okay. Well, those are just what I think. I mean, it makes me. I don't know, but.
Yeah, I don't know, and maybe, like I said, not every question will be answered.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but the question is, can we live not knowing that?
Yeah, and I have to live not knowing that, right? Because those answers are not going to be found in either one of us.
No.
It's not going to be found in either one of us.
It's not going to be found in either one. It's probably not going to be found in our pastor. Nothing. Something that will be found when we.
But I'm strongly convinced that God was in it. How about you?
I don't know.
You're not convinced.
I don't know, because to me that it's not a question to me. Okay.
Okay.
To me, it's something that happened, like so many other things in life that happen, and if I take a moment and I say yes, everything that happens in life is from God, then that. But I'm sorry, but I don't think that way.
But don't you think
whereas
that
the event happens, it's from God.
But don't you think that you rely too much on human knowledge for your answer?
It was only my observation, and I'm embarrassed, but God did not cross my mind at that point. It's from God. Just like how if I were to drive, right, and I see a deal somewhere, I don't say, oh, it's from God.
I do.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, so that's the different way of thinking.
Okay.
So that's why when you ask me to to consider that, it's like it's never crossed my mind even. Just like how it never crossed my mind when I see deals and so forth from God.
Okay.
That's it. I mean, I don't.
Okay. Well, we think differently.
It doesn't.
Okay.
Does it make me less? I hope not. I hope that if God doesn't, pop up in everything that makes me less of a Christian, then I'll be so inferior.
No, I don't think you're inferior or anything like that. I don't think it makes you less of a Christian. It's just, okay, I accept that we think it differently, and we even see differently, and we hear differently, and we process stuff differently. I understand all of that. Okay. It's just, okay, I did. Okay, well.
Yeah, so that's a question that you'll have to live with it. Okay? And then it'll get answered when we meet him. Okay?
Okay.
It'll get answered. everything will be answered by then. But we will meet him.
Well, the problem is that if it happened once, like again, if this is not the end of it, okay, then
so there are
it gets
options.
really, really frustrating for me when you keep on trying to force me to recognize like the stuff in terms of psychiatry.
Okay, all right. I did bring it up and you say there are options because you mentioned the whole like commit you to the hospital or institution.
Yeah.
And I told that to the nurse. I don't want her to, but that's what she said. And he said, no. I shared it with you, the story. There are options, okay?
And what are those options?
He didn't tell me. He just said there are options. Okay? That he didn't tell me what those options were. But he said that, given this is an anniversary, okay, and this thing that led up to it is identical in a sense, okay?
Very similar, not identical. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, very similar. Your parents' stuff is like identical, but the writing is similar. That's why, okay, that, just from observation, that this would probably be it, so that to really solve this, and if something else happens, then whoops, we're here. We incorrect diagnosis, but there are options. It's not, okay. That's how he says there are options.
Okay, I understand you telling me because you told me that committing me to an institution with the nurses experience. It doesn't. It's not
for
good
something,
for long
not
term.
for this. Not for this. Yeah.
But what I'm telling you is that during the whole thing, twice now, it's very frustrating for me when we don't speak the same language.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much, you're saying is to get you committed until we speak the same language again?
No, I'm not saying that. Okay. I'm saying that you keep on trying to force. I felt very forced to say, "Oh, this is a psychotic episode." That what
there were certain danger. I believe I had the recording where you were clean, but then you started crying.
Yeah.
You said, right, that if this is not what's doing, then I'm the problem. And if I'm the problem, then only to solve I do the. You said that.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
See that right there's a talk of suicide. That's a danger to you. Okay?
Yeah.
And a grave sin.
Yeah.
So, I have to take action. I can't just go along with that.
No, I understand why you can't go along with it now, because you said that if you go along with it, then...
I can't go along with the fact that you were going to say, you're going to have to do those. What am I going to do? Okay, how can I help you do those?
No, it's not helping. It's...
I have to stop you somehow, right?
No, but
you were actually looking around the kitchen. I thank God that there were no knives exposed. It was all clean. I don't know what you would have done.
No, I wouldn't have done it.
Okay, all right. I'm glad. That was racing through my head because when you looked at me, then you looked around the kitchen after that. I remember you were washing. You went over here, right here at this corner. And I was holding you.
Well, I was.
And then you looked around again, and that shot in my head like, oh my God, is she looking for a knife or something?
I was.
See, so
I distinctly remember wanting to hold the nail filer with a pointy, and I was looking for that.
Okay, all right. But yeah, see, it's stuff like that, huh? That it's a danger.
No, but
I cannot.
I'm not saying that you're helping me in those stuff.
Okay, all right.
You can correct my thoughts that you have been.
And I did.
Yes, and you have to. But that doesn't mean you forced me to think the same way you do. what I felt was very forced to
Okay.
think the same way you do. To say that, oh, these are irrelevant and snap out of it kind of like thing.
You know how after the first incident, like you were looking to me, like just please tell me what to do.
And
Okay.
when that time comes,
Yeah,
I
so
will.
so it was it's same here that you're in the state, but I'm thinking somewhere in the back you're saying please tell me what to do. So that's why I was telling you what to do. Give you instructions to do something else, to redirect you. Because you remember the first time saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just it's something that repeats in my mind. Like I'm telling her what to do to redirect, to so that it's
Okay.
yeah. That's it.
But I want you to remember this. If it happens again, please just try to listen to me and hear me out. Like, don't force. I know that you're trying to redirect my thought and that you should do that. But I need some sympathy and empathy too.
And there are stuff that I do, when it poses no issue. Like when you're cleaning the bathroom and you poured out all the shampoo, the kids' shampoo.
Yeah.
I told you, I was like, don't, and then you said something to me like stop it, or God's telling me, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll just let you do it.
Yeah.
I had a recording of that too. So I didn't hold your hand and say stop. Why are you throwing this away?
Yeah.
So I let you. There's certain stuff.
Yeah.
But not everything, because there are other stuff that have inherent risk to it that you may hurt yourself.
Okay.
To say that I prevent you from you saw for yourself from your memory of what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. You did that
And
to the other stuff
those are
too.
good.
And you did that to a lot of stuff. Okay. Yeah. See. If I was, like in the other sense, I would stop you from everything, right? I would have no sympathy or anything.
Okay. Okay, well, now that you talk about it, then yeah, I see it. I didn't think of it in terms of sympathy. I just thought, oh, I told you to stop, so you stop.
Mm-hmm.
Or like you listen to God and you stop. That was what I thought before this.
Is it I value? It's like there's no harm, it's just soap. You can throw it away. It's getting where we need it, Yeah. That's all.
So what about today's message?
Oh no, yeah, I was just telling you how that really summarizes my faith really.
What
well.
was your faith? What
that
the
at
summary.
The very core of it, it's a very simple. It took so long to get, just to simply believe, But it's sort of like Paul's simplicity in the messages. You just have to believe in Christ.
Yeah.
Not you have to do leave. You have to obey the Sabbath. You have to not eat leaven, so forth, right? And Passover. All these things. It's so simple. And that's the thing with the jailer, right? And as a Christian too, is that the jail was assigned, that was his job, to guard the prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't like Pilate, with the decision. He just said, I have to guard, this is my job, I'm a warden, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I find it so nice that, the earthquake and so forth, but the prison, Paul, they're all there. They didn't escape. So in a way, like he still did his job. It's not like they made it so that he didn't do his job and then get executed and so forth. As a Christian, you still do the work, but not at the same time not cause pain and so forth to others. That's the I thought that I took out of it. That Paul thought they were there. They could have escaped, right? They could have escaped, and then he would have the punishment and so forth of letting prisoner escape, getting.
But
punished.
there's elsewhere in the Bible where that happened, where I think Peter was taken out of the prison through a vision, and yeah, wonder what happened to the guards. So it's like case by case basis. So it's like it's not the same thing happen like throughout. There are some cases where God let the people go, and some cases where God wants the people to stay.
And that's the interesting part is the message doesn't change. The method change. Okay, method in terms of like case by case, like like Paul stayed and so forth. But you say let go, just like Jesus healing. Right? When Jesus healed, remember he spit, he touched, someone touched him, right? The robe, right? So different method of healing. He didn't do one, but it's the same. I think that's the way of like, to take the focus away from the method and to more about the core of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll focus on touching is if you touch, then you heal. Nothing else. You have to touch, right? Yeah. So.
Well, that's just So the whole message is that God is behind everything.
Yeah. So that was it.
No
that was the message
method.
Today.
So today's message actually thought. I wondered if I was kind of like that girl.
Fortune teller. Yeah, I had an inkling you may have thought that. That's why I checked to make sure you're okay. I don't know. I mean,
I don't believe that I can be demon possessed because I'm a Christian. So how can a demon possess me? And the stuff that God revealed to me, those are just stuff about my family, right? And like I felt like.
Oh, okay. But then you felt like everyone would be saved and so forth, where that was not a guarantee. Remember?
No, I felt like everyone will be saved, and I know that it's not a guarantee.
But you say yes,
but I felt like if we are living in the last day, and the Bible said that there is a day where everyone will bow before Christ. So then that's what I thought. But then I also read that many will turn away.
Yeah,
right? So we don't know the chronological sequence of what all. But that's what I thought.
Okay.
Right? And my desire is for everyone to be saved.
Okay.
Right? And Pastor Brad said that, like, when he said that,
so
that
God
promise
did not
is not.
Then, right? You thought of that.
What do you mean?
There's like a thought from our own desire.
I know my desire is for everyone to be saved.
All right.
I don't know if he wants, like, if he's telling, like, through reading, I thought that was going to happen in our lifetime or maybe our grandchildren's lifetime or something like that. But I don't know when, right?
Yeah, I know.
But
it doesn't change how I'm.
But the thing that stuck out to me was how Pastor Brad said that promise that you and your entire household will be saved, that was only for the person that story was written about. I thought it would be applicable to me too. But Pastor Brad is saying it's not. So then I wonder, like, how do I know which part of the Bible is applicable to me versus only for the people that is written, the story is written to?
Oh, there you go. If the story's written to them, huh? But see, that's the thing that's why my faith is you just gotta believe. I'm telling you.
But I'm asking you, if you believe, what are you believing with?
there it is.
Your heart only, or your mind also?
Really, at first it was with my mind, and now it's my heart. My heart was, it forced my mind that believed, but my heart didn't.
Okay.
Isn't that weird? Huh?
Yes. No, that happened to me too.
Yeah, it was my mind that with the reading through Genesis and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was and I was like, okay, I believe. That was with my mind. My heart didn't come until later.
Yeah, same with me.
Yeah, see, so, and yeah,
so I know that the criteria for being saved is to have Jesus residing in your heart. So believing in your heart is good, but then for me, I also need to believe in my mind.
My mind had enough of it already. That's
your mind have enough.
Like it's enough for me. And then it transferred to my heart. Yeah.
I see.
Everybody has a different. I say I've had enough. Huh? Someone needs it to be constant every day for them to believe, right? If something happens that they don't, huh? Doesn't. Yeah. For me, no. It's just a certain point. I'm like, I have enough.
Okay. Well, I don't understand that, but okay.
Yeah. Meaning like, how I say, like for some, I don't know if it's a good example. Like let's say. Let's say you and I, right? Let's read that. And at some, like if it's constantly doing things for each other, showing our love language and so forth, right? To show to each other that we love them and so forth, right? Sometimes like really, it's nah. Like you're going out of your way and everything, and you're doing so much work for it, right? And it's just like. It's enough. Huh? I know you love me. You don't have to do this.
No, but for me, for me,
that's why I say it's a bad example. But that's the idea. Is some point where I don't need the brain to tell me to believe.
No, but I don't need the brain to tell me what to believe.
Yeah, then at that point.
But I want my brain to go even further.
Okay, wow.
In knowledge of God's word, because the Bible said that God's word is like a living word, right? So it changes, like depending on your circumstances, certain stuff are emphasized. It means differently, depending on the circumstances.
Yeah, and our pastor talked about how like the benefit of our family members is we're with them, we are Christian, and then we can share. Experience, we can water and pray for them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, so at some point it feels more like an apologetic thing, where you enough enough and more to plant the seed and the core concept to pray and plant the seed and water. And then that's it.
Oh, I remember one of the things that you keep on telling me is like, oh, you did enough. Your part is done. Your part is done. But you don't know that, It's like I'm.
So that was there. I said that, right? Because of your response. Okay. Whenever when you're cleaning and so forth, saying, "Is this done?" Right? This was the first time. I remember the first time you say, "Is it done?" You just blurt out when cleaning something, and I said, "Yes, it's done." It's like, "Oh, okay." Oh, I was getting tired. Okay, and it was multiple times we did that, by the way. But when I saw that first response, then every other time when you clean something, I let you clean. I didn't just say stop cleaning. I let you clean, but then when you repeat, go over, I tell you, it's done. You did a good job. So that in hope of getting the same response that you would. You see it and it's like, okay, I'm done. Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
The job was done. Yeah, and it went to your family too, because you told me that they needed to hear the recording. Huh. So that was more about your task. You say your task is done. You needed to get that out for your family members to hear, and now it's up to them on how they process and do it. Your task is done.
Yeah, but I know that.
Yes,
It's not like
I was just repeating. That was it.
Okay.
Huh?
It felt like you were saying, "Hey, why are you still doing this? Why aren't you listening to me?"
No, it was that. It's from that response the first time, and
Okay.
other times I let you clean. I didn't see you like cleaning this and just stop you. You clean it and then it was. I say it's done. You go elsewhere, you do stuff, and then even on the floor, picking like, you see the hair, I let you pick it all up and say, okay, it's done. Because you start going back again. And so.
Well, it felt like my mom, no, for sure told me yesterday or the day before or something like that she was kind of monitoring me, like and then like I felt like you were kind of doing that too, because like I would be doing something I didn't feel it was long at all, and then you guys would go in and say, "Oh, what's taking you so long? Why are you doing this again?" Like kind of like checking my action, like stuff like that. So that was really frustrating.
That was mainly your mom with the restroom thing. What you doing so long in the restroom?
Like she kept on running in and like and she even told me a few days ago that she was kind of like checking up on me, like making sure. I don't even know what she was making sure.
Making sure you weren't throwing stuff away, like you threw her toothbrush away.
I threw only the.
That was her toothbrush. She sewed you.
It doesn't look.
Well, that doesn't mean it's not being used. That's how. So yeah. Okay. So then that's after that she then started guarding to make sure you don't throw other stuff that she's using.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember the conversation. He's like, "Where's I walk?" And she had to pick it out of the trash and everything.
She can get a new one.
No. Yeah. So, but yeah, the two-way message, I will keep that with me. Yes. And I mean, I hear that story many times. Apostle thrown in prison, earthquake, and guard about to kill himself, and they stay your hand. You're still here. Yeah. This time.
Yeah, that's what the living word means. It's sometimes.
Or maybe it was in the brain the whole time, but now it transferred to the heart.
Yeah.
Because I told you, like, that really can sunrise up my walk with the Lord. Do that. It was very simple, but it's at the same time hard for many to grasp this simple concept. And to see the actions.
Okay. Well, I guess I got a lot of questions out of my brain.
Okay. But yeah, the other question, hon, when we meet our Maker. You know what? I do have one question. But at the same time, I probably know the answer to it. Okay. The question was, so if you marry and your wife died, you remarry again, then in heaven, who are you with? With everybody, because you're all brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's no more marriage in heaven. That's what the Bible said.
Yeah,
that question was even asked of Jesus. Okay.
There's no more. We're all brothers and sisters. So that's why it's fun.
Okay, I'm gonna stop and upload it.
Okay. Have you got anything else?
No.
All clear?
Yeah.
With that other question, I'm sorry, I can't answer.
Okay.